This is a Top Corner Football Podcast. In this episode, Kabwe Warriors and Ghana Football Club go head-to-head in the embarrassment final, but Zambian football is the only loser. Meanwhile, ABSA Cup Semi-finals step up to wash away the stench. Stay tuned for more right here. Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, so finally, we seem to have some good news. Is it good news? The AGM is finally going to go ahead, and we're going to have FIRE's elections on the 9th of May 2025. What have you made of this?
Well, I think for me, after the AGM failed to take off on the 29th of March in Livingston due to that court injunction, I was actually hoping that the AGM would be rescheduled in good time, but I don't know why FAS was actually waiting for FIFA to give a go-ahead on what's enshrined already in the constitution, in the FAS constitution. So anyway, I'm happy we now have a date on when we are having the next AGM, which is on the 29th of May. I just want this to get done with. Whoever wins, let them win in those elections.
I totally agree. It has felt like, in a way, Zambian football has stood still because no one knows the next step. No one knows the direction our football is going to take soon. So the sooner we have the elections and a new or a continuation of the current presidency, I feel the better. Aside from that, we had quite some weekend in the MTN Super League, and not in a good way. The first incident, firstly, we saw what happened in the game in Lusaka between Kabwe Warriors and ABSA Stars in that draw. Quite unfortunate scenes. What happened?
I mean, we really had some ugly scenes in week 32 of the MTN Super League, and in that specific match you've mentioned against Kabwe Warriors and ABSA, you'd actually realize that a lot was at stake for Kabwe Warriors in that game. They were trying to stay in the race for the continental football, and this incident happened when Kabwe Warriors was pushing for a winner at the time. So now, after you could see Kabwe Warriors players physically, harass the Lions woman Anista Bwalia for raising an offside flag in a tight call that disallowed Timothy Sakala's goal.
It was quite unfortunate to see, considering how far our football has come. In particular, the women's game has been growing in recent times, and it hasn't just been that. We've also seen a raise in the profile of female referees. We are among the first leagues, I think, to have a female referee. And recently we saw Diana Chikotesha being crowned as one of the most important referees, best referees on the continent. And for Kabwe Warriors players to react to a call like that, I understand the pressure and the importance of the fixture, but for them to actually confront a referee and physically threaten her, it's quite unfortunate, because what does it say to the fans that it's okay to physically abuse or harass a referee? What does it say? Because Kabwe Warriors has edge teams. What does it say to those young players that if a call does not go your way, you can go and beat up a referee? And this is a female referee, by the way. Anyway, how has the club responded? How have the players themselves responded?
Yeah, I think before I respond to that specific question, I would like to add to the fact that you actually see Clement Mundia's forehead make contact with the female referee when they were actually disputing that core, and more Kabwe Warriors players moved in and swarmed Anista. Quite a sad incident, And for Clement Mundia being a senior player, you'd actually expect him to react better because he's supposed to be a role model to these young players, obviously in Kabwe Warriors and every other young player coming up, and that behavior is really inexcusable. I feel Faz should put a stiff um, penalty to the players and for exhibiting such hideous behavior, and also fine the club as well for failing to control its players. But now, going back to your question, what was irritating was the fact that you see the club took time or was a little bit reluctant to, release an official statement or react to that incident. It actually took them close to 48 hours to release a statement. And that was obviously done to the fact that they had, so much pressure was mounting on them from the public. And now, right before we were shooting, or right before recording this podcast, we saw Clement. Yeah, 4 days later, actually, we see Clement Mundia release an apology.
I feel like there should be heavy punishments, elongated bans for most of these Kabwe Warriors players, because they are Super League players and you expect much more from them, and for the club to respond 48 hours later, and Clement Mundia, the instigator of the incident, and then taking 4 days to respond is deplorable.
It's like that. It's like that.
I
They're
hope,
trying to play damage control.
and it's too late, too late. But then
Too
again,
late.
we thought we had seen the worst, but the weekend got a bit darker at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Dola.
The scenes that happened in Ndola were really unfortunate, and they shouldn't have happened. We know the Kitwe Derby has significantly grown, and it possesses so much commercial value. It's the most entertaining match that commands the largest crowd in the local league.
But that also creates a problem, as we saw.
It
The larger
does.
the crowd, the bigger the problems may be.
So now, the larger the crowd, the bigger the problems. I guess teams should find better ways of now managing these bigger crowds that will be turning up. So now, you'd notice that as the game, the incidents that happened actually was that as the game was coming to a close, right? Power Dynamos was awarded a penalty in added time and an opportunity to draw 1-1 after trailing for most of the match. So Power Dynamos converted their penalty, and now that's when the aftermath of this game by Nkana fans smeared the beautiful aspect of this game with ugly scenes of criminality. That's what I can say, man. We saw players getting vandalized in the national stadium, and it was really an ugly scene.
Yeah. So I think we learned something. Is it today or yesterday? As reported by Bola News, we apparently it did not stop with the fans in the stands. It
No, no, no,
extended
no,
to
no.
players breaking down a door and players being arrested.
Yeah, and that's the thing. For me, I feel this Nkana fans' behavior is a systematic problem, and it's really unfortunate that it extends beyond fans. It we had actually reports go around that three Nkana players have been arrested. That being Bombo, Clement Mwape, and Captain Harrison Salah were actually arrested for allegedly malicious damage to government properties. We're being told the three are suspected to have broken down the locking system of the referee's dressing room at the stadium. And now that in itself is a big problem. If you have a problem, if you have a problem with fans, and you also have a problem with players, in itself is total chaos.
Yeah, I think
Don't you think so?
I totally agree. I think Kabwe, not Kabwe, sorry, Nkana Football Club, as an organization, as a football club, as an association of like-minded people, should take uh, incredible time to introspect, because you cannot have an incident as bad as that. Remember, this club was barred from playing games at their own stadium just last season, and
Yeah.
this year, this particular incident, you could excuse them, you could make room for them. They're hyper fans, and let's make one thing very clear: it's not every Nkana fan, obviously, and it's not
Yeah.
every Nkana player, but there is a problem with this club and the culture that they've built around themselves. Of You remember, we were at Trail Grounds earlier when Kana visited,
Yeah.
and rightly they had a claim to a penalty, but the fans stopped the game for 8 minutes, and after the game, they held the referee and police officers hostage in a stadium for close to an hour. You cannot have that such behavior, and now everyone is against it, and rightly so. You cannot. Zambia only has one fifth CAF certified stadium, and they went and destroyed it. We thought it was just chairs. Now we are learning other things were being broken by players. Anything they could
It's
access, they destroyed. So they have to introspect. They have to be honest. Yes, the club has offered to repair the chairs, but it should go further than that, in my opinion.
it should, and for me, learning of what happened with the players, going to break down the locker room. Obviously, you see these players frustrated, and they go after the ref as well. They need there's so much introspection that needs to happen with this club, and we do understand players are mere people just like you and me. They do have emotions as well, but there's a line that a player doesn't need to cross. You cannot go and start damaging properties as a player. The fact that you are a professional, you need to carry yourself in a certain way. And again, the problem is the same. When you see these three players that are mentioned, that are arrested, these are senior players.
Like
Clement
like in
Mwape,
the yes,
like yes, like in the first incidents where you see Clement Mundia burst out. It's the same thing that Clement Mwape, Harrison Harrison
Sarah,
Chisala, and Idris
Idris
Mbombo are
Mbombo.
doing. Yes, these guys are senior players, and to make matters worse, they're captains of these teams. So you expect a captain, or rather captains, to carry themselves in a certain way and be role models. You
Totally
know,
agree. I think we will talk about the upcoming ABSA Cup games, and I think that's where the punishment should begin for Nkana.
yeah.
I don't think their fans should be allowed to attend that game. Nor do I don't think fans. It's quite unfortunate that the innocent fans will be affected, but I don't think Ghana fans should be allowed to watch a football match for a very long time. If it were up to me, I'd suggest the whole of next season they don't watch any game. Uh, the club statement said they were ready to, as I said, they were ready to repair the damage in the stadium. I think They should go further than that. Everything that is broken, even if a socket is broken, whether it was them or not, if it's a system is not working at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium, if it were Nkana fans or not, everything
Let
at
them
that
fix
stadium
it.
should be fixed, and it should come from the pocket. Their fans had just destroyed chairs at a national stadium, and their fans were giving their players who had also broken other property, they were giving their players 30,000 kwacha. I think they have a lot of money. And I think that money should be spent to fix everything. If a pavement brick is missing around Levi Mwanawasa Stadium, it should be fixed by Nkana.
Come on, that would be too much on
there
them.
are no road markings on the Kitwe Dual carriageway. I think Kanafan should fix those road markings. Beyond that, and I'm very serious, beyond that, every money from the ABSA Cup, money from the league, and money from Super Sport should be withheld until Nkana Football Club and every fan association, because I know for a fact that they know the troublemakers. They should produce each and every troublemaker that was involved in the destruction of property at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium. Until then, they should not be allowed to get any money from Zambian football, because they don't deserve it. They have shown that time and time again. Serious action has to be taken. Idris Mbombo and every other players that were involved should not be show their face at the ABSA game, a semi-final this weekend. I think we should start there. Speaking of ABSA,
Yeah.
Yeah, I went on a rant there, but USA.
Yeah, well, that's too much anyway. But they deserve they deserve the most. They deserve the stiffest punishment that they should get. So, but anyway, moving on to the ABSA. What were you talking about the ABSA Cup?
Yeah, I was talking about the ABSA Cup because that is the next game Kana is involved in, round of fixtures, and I was saying, we can't have Idris Mbombo and his friends there. No, can we have Ghana fans there? But beyond that, we have two interesting fixtures.
We do have. We do have quite mouth-watering semi-finals lined up for this weekend on the 26th of April on a Saturday. But now, Power Dynamos obviously is coming up against Red Arrows at 12:30. Zesco United plays in Nkana, the infamous Nkana now at 15 hours. But for me, these are quite good matches coming up. They're very good fixtures, but still, I have one problem with these fixtures. The problem I have is actually on the timing. I feel the first match probably could have started at 15 hours and the last match being played at 18 hours. But anyway, it is what it is. I don't know why the timing is like this.
They could have been played on different days altogether.
Yeah. But again, it's another issue of maybe the organizers.
One AI camera.
Yeah, there's one AI camera, so covering it's cost effective for them, and they'll probably get the highest get takings if matches are being played like that. Yeah, but leading up to the semi-finals, in the quarterfinals, we saw Zesco United beat Konkola Blades, and quite all right. Nkana also managed to get to the semi-finals, but they really struggled to get there against Kansanshi Dynamos. We saw them beat Kansanshi 3-2 on penalties. And Kabwe Warriors, as usual, has been a victim to Power Dynamos this season. They failed to actually win any game against Power Dynamos. They lost to Power Dynamos, and Power Dynamos went through to the semi-finals. And Red Arrows actually beat Green Eagles. So now, do you think we can possibly have another Kitwe Derby as the final for the ABSA Cup?
I think we can. I don't think I had the displeasure of watching Zesco United face Bats United of
Yeah,
Jomond. uh, the provincial from the provincial league in Southern Province, and
that
Bats
was in the
United.
round of 69. Yeah,
Yes, and Bats United were far and away the better side. But obviously, Zesco United had the resources, so they won that game. So if Nkana can play anywhere close to the level they've been showing this season, I think they can beat Zesco United pretty comfortably. But you never know. I Nkana might not have all the players that they want to have for one reason or the other, as we have discussed. But I think we can have that because Power Dynamos is a superior team to Arrows, I feel. But it's a one you never know in a one-off game. So I think it's very possible to have a Kitwe Derby ABSA Cup final. Very possible.
yeah, that would that would be an whole interesting scenario there if we saw Power Dynamos come up against Kitwe United. Oh, Kitwe,
In
oh,
Nkana.
sorry, Nkana.
Okay.
Nkana in the Kitwe Derby again.
Okay, that's about how all we have to for you today. Obviously, a very bad week, a very bad advert for Zambian football, but that could be, hopefully that could be, that dent could be washed away by spectacular weekend of ABSA Cup semi-finals. Summer.
We're looking forward to some beautiful games this weekend and forget about whatever happened.
Okay. Thank you, Sama, for your time, and thank you
Yes.
for each one that is listening to this pod. We'll see you next time.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.